Hello and welcome to Chabot News for October 19th, 2023. My name is Alan Sampson and today we will be covering the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, a Lululemon store in San Francisco that was robbed twice in 1 month, and a fatal stabbing that happened right here in Hayward. In entertainment, Jasmine will give us an update on the Taylor Swift movie tour. And finally, Evan will bring us the latest sports news, including a former NFL player who was arrested in connection with his mother's death. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. The U.S. is reinforcing its support as Israeli forces appear to be positioned to launch a ground invasion. CNN's Jeremy Diamond got a look at the latest round of U.S. military aid that arrived in the country.
Tonight, U.S. support for Israel looks like this. A hulking U.S. military transport plane bolstering Israel's war effort against Hamas landing at Nevatim Air Base, where CNN secured exclusive access as airmen offloaded its cargo.
This C-17 military cargo plane just landed here in southern Israel. It is bringing fresh U.S. weapons and ammunition for Israel's fight against Hamas. Today, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, coming here to inspect the shipment, vowing that U.S. military support for Israel will continue to flow at the speed of war.
I know how hard you've been working. You've been really hustling to get this here as quickly as you could, and there's a lot more that follows this.
This was the second shipment of military equipment to Israel just this week, delivering precision-guided munitions, artillery shells, and Iron Dome interceptor missiles, which help protect civilians from Hamas rockets.
It's not just a show of support, it is support. And it's just the leading edge of more to come.
We've already seen some civilian casualties in Gaza. What kind of assurances do you have from the Israelis about how they'll use these munitions? What kind of assurances?
Jeremy, this is a professional force that's well led, so I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
Israeli airstrikes have killed more than 1,900 people in Gaza this week, including at least 614 children, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Palestinian leaders accuse Israel of deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure. Israeli officials blame Hamas for firing rockets from civilian areas and using civilians as human shields. Even as he made clear the U.S. stands with Israel,
I am here in person to make something crystal clear. America's support for Israel is ironclad.
The defense secretary also reminding Israel of its moral responsibility.
Democracies like ours are stronger and more secure when we uphold the laws of war.
Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Nevatim Air Base.
The conflict in the Middle East originally began in 1947, 2 years after the end of the Second World War, and the horror of the Holocaust, when the UN General Assembly voted to partition Palestine into an Arab state and a separate Jewish state. The fighting over who lays claim to the land has been going on ever since. In Illinois, Chicago city leaders say more help is needed from its own to shelter the busload of migrants arriving from Texas. So far this week, a number of arrivals have increased, with 63 buses arriving to the city. Sarah Shalute has the latest.
Wall-to-wall tents. Every square inch of the sidewalk in front of the 18th Police District is used for sheltering migrants. There is so little room left. Adriana Colina and her family were forced to find space under a tree across the street. Colina just arrived with her 3 boys under the age of 7. She tells us, I didn't think there was so much population here at the police station. I thought it would be very different. I thought everything was going to be very fast with the shelter. According to city data, the 18th Police District, located at the corner of Division and Larrabee, has close to 300 migrants living here. Overall, there are over 3,000 new arrivals living at police stations throughout the city. In a virtual briefing to reporters today, the city says the Texas governor has dramatically increased his fleet of buses he's sending to Chicago.
He plans on sending 20 to 25 buses a day. Just in this past week, we had 63 buses.
Mayoral Deputy Chief of Staff Christina Prasione-Zaya says the administration's plan to move people out of police stations to yet-to-be-built base camps is imminent, although she would not say where they will be located. Meantime, the city is opening a new shelter every 6 days. But Prasione-Zaya says it's not nearly enough, and the city needs more help from its own.
We've also received quite a bit of pushback. And so we really need the help, from community as well as alders to assist us in being able to get people off of the police station floors.
Last month, the Johnson administration asked all 50 city council members to identify available land or buildings in their wards as potential shelter sites. Prasione-Zaya says only 25% of the alders have offered anything.
Plans for Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's trip to Borders is still underway. A player in California won a $1.7 billion Powerball jackpot on October 11th, ending a long stretch without a winner of the top prize. According to the California Lottery, the winning ticket was sold at Midway Market and Liquor in Frazier Park. Phone calls on the night of Wednesday the 11th and the morning of Thursday the 12th to Midway Market and Liquor went unanswered. Frazier Park is an unincorporated mountain community of about 2,600 residents. It's located about 75 miles north of Los Angeles. The Powerball had gone 35 consecutive drawings without a big winner, stretching back to July 19th when a player in California matched all 6 numbers and won $1.8 billion. The jackpot is the world's second largest lottery prize after rolling over for 36 consecutive drawings. That streak trails the record of 41 draws set in 2022. A 43-year-old Minnesota educator can now boast he's grown the heaviest pumpkin on earth. Travis Ginger, a horticulture and landscape teacher at Anoka Technical College, set a new world record for growing the plumpest pumpkin on the planet, weighing in at 2,749 pounds. To put that in perspective, according to an online Alaska wildlife fact sheet, Ginger pumpkins is about equivalent weight of an adult male walrus. In addition to pride, the pumpkin brought Ginger $9 per pound, totaling $24,741. He also won a special $30,000 mega prize for the new world record breaking pumpkin contest. Now let's turn it over to entertainment news and our reporter Jasmine Bester.
Taylor Swift fans and theater owners are counting down to this weekend when the performer's career-spanning concert arrives in movie theaters. David Daniel has a look.
Taylor Swift's late August announcement that a film of her Eras Tour would hit theaters took everyone by surprise.
This was completely out of nowhere, it seems. A dream come true and music to the ears of theater owners.
Box office analyst Paul Dergarabedian says fans immediately began buying advance tickets like it was, well, a Taylor Swift tour.
They had pre-sales that were reported to be early on within the first 24 hours at about $29 million.
Multiple theater chains are reporting record pre-sales. That made Friday the 13th a scary release date for other studio films.
Very notably, The Exorcist Believer, which was set for that Friday the 13th, appropriately enough, they had to move back to the 6th.
Start over, start fresh. Create the new. that's what the Renaissance is about.
Eras isn't the only major music tour headed to theaters. Renaissance, a film by Beyoncé, chronicling the tour that drew 2.7 million fans, figures to bring more to theaters when it opens December 1st.
I think we're going to see a renaissance, if you will, in the whole genre of concert films and music in theaters.
It's going to be called the Eras Tour. See you there.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Taylor Swift Eras Tour film brought in $92.8 million in its opening weekend. After haunting theaters over the summer, Disney's Haunted Mansion arrives on home video this week. Rick Damangella talked with the director.
After midnight, the house comes alive.
This place is haunted!
The 999 Happy Haunts head to your home for the DVD and Blu-ray release of Haunted Mansion.
Mystery lurks around every corner.
I summon Madame Leota!
The movie is based on the long-running Disney theme park attraction and features an all-star cast for both the living and the undead characters.
Surprise! They're not just stars, they're really great actors. And there's nothing more fun for me as a director than putting together an ensemble with a bunch of great actors.
Oh, he was smiling.
The man who mugged you was smiling.
But he didn't have lips. So it was kind of like a perpetual smile.
Among those is Lakeith Stanfield, an actor best known for his more serious roles, including Sorry to Bother You and Judas and the Black Messiah.
He can do these amazing character roles. He can totally get lost in a character, to the point where you don't even know exactly where Lakeith is in there. And yet he is also really good at just being vulnerable on camera, letting you into what his thought process is, which is really what acting is all about.
Is this the man who mugged you?
Wow. Oh. You just did that just now? This is amazing.
Avoiding hitchhiking ghosts in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damangella.
Haunted Mansion released on physical formats October 17th and is also available digitally. Well, that's all for this week's look at entertainment news. I'm Jasmine Bester. Now, back to you, Alan.
Thanks, Jasmine. Taking a look at Bay Area news now. The Lululemon store at 2040 Fillmore Street in San Francisco was robbed for the second time in 1 month. 4 people have been charged in 2 separate incidents of organized retail theft at the Pacific Heights Lululemon location, involving a total of over $22,000 worth of merchandise. The charges stem from a September 21st robbery in which prosecutors say a group of 7 people entered the clothing store on the 2000 block of Fillmore Street and exited with more than $7,000 in stolen merchandise. The theft occurred 1 month after another robbery in which thieves allegedly entered the same building and began filling large bags with merchandise. In that incident, police arrested 6 people, including a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old who were cited and released. These arrests are all part of the city's effort to crack down on the growing number of smash and grab robberies which have occurred over the past year. In a related story, Target is closing 3 Bay Area stores permanently next month. The chain announced it will permanently close a San Francisco store, blaming organized retail crime and unsuccessful anti-theft measures. The store at 1690 Folsom Street is slated to close on October 21st. The Folsom location first opened in 2019. The retail giant also plans to close stores in Oakland at 2650 Broadway and Pittsburgh at 4301 Century Boulevard. Target is increasing an effort to prevent crime in its store by adding additional security and introducing new technology. Target previously reduced store hours because of an uptick in retail theft. These aren't the only stores Target is closing because of theft. The Minneapolis-based company is also shuttering a store in New York City, 2 locations in Seattle, and 3 locations in Portland. We sent our reporters out onto the campus to find out what Chabot students think about these closures.
Of course it sucks because it's like part of our culture and stuff here, and we always want more stores open. So
because everybody needs to go on the stores, to buy things like supplies and stuff for school and college.
Honestly, didn't know about that, but if it's because of stealing, that's completely understandable. But other than that, I just didn't really know about that.
I actually have not much information about that. All I heard is got closed because it's much shoplifting. I'm not very sure about it. And I think it's it got very bad. It's they're locking basic stuff like toothpaste.
Up because a lot of people do rely on Target to get whatever stuff they need. If it's some cosmetic stuff for an affordable price, or it's your daily what's it called, like deodorant, shampoo, conditioners, all that sorts of things, your toiletries. You get some really nice towels in there, some basic home appliances like vacuums and whatnot. It's kind of messed up that people really are stealing.
I feel bad, and I don't like the fact that they're shoplifting, and everybody loves going to Target to shop, so that's really bad.
After these closures, Target will have 32 stores remaining in the Bay Area. Forecasters say temperatures in the hottest spots of the region are expected to get no higher than 96 degrees. Those spots are expected to include San Jose, Livermore, and Concord. Temperatures in Oakland, San Mateo, and San Francisco are all expected to peak at 89 degrees. According to the National Weather Service, overall, the region temperatures will run on average about 7 to 12 degrees warmer than normal during the heat wave. Forecasters say the uptick will present a moderate heat risk and urge people to stay hydrated. In Hayward, police are investigating the fatal stabbing of a person which happened on October 8th. The Hayward Police Department said in a statement, officers were called to Lanceway and Tucker Street around 10:20 p.m. for a report of an assault with a deadly weapon. Police said officers arrived to find an unresponsive male outside suffering from what appears to be stab wounds. Medical personnel pronounced the person dead at the scene. The death is marked the city's 8th homicide of the year. Anyone with information related to the case can contact Detective Nick Needlethal at 510-293-7176. Police have not released the victim's name, nor have they announced any arrests. Now it's time for sports news with our reporter, Evan Netto.
A Chicago club's security employee was taken to the hospital after coming in contact with a foreign substance in the mail on October 10th. Officials say the employee was located at an office building that sits near Wrigley Field when they came in contact with what police called a skin irritant. The employee was taken to the hospital but has since been released. The Cubs organization says the employee had an allergic reaction. A bomb unit, the Chicago Fire Department, the Postal Inspection Service, and the FBI had also responded to the scene. There is no word as to what the substance was. Whatever the substance was, it's a good thing it wasn't deadly, or worse, a bomb. Former NFL player Sergio Brown has been taken into custody in connection with his mother's death. According to a law enforcement source, Brown was taken into custody near San Diego, California on October 10th. Authorities said he fled to Mexico soon after his mother's body was found near a creek near his Chicago area home on September 16th. Mexican authorities have reportedly known his whereabouts since at least September 19th, but were waiting for an arrest warrant before they deported him. The source also says that police are working to transfer Brown to the Chicago area. The medical examiner's office said Brown's mother died from injuries related to an assault, and the manner of her death was ruled a homicide. The sports world is waiting for Sergio Brown's trial with bated breath. That's going to wrap it up for this week's Look at Sports. I'm Evan Netto. Now, back to you, Alan.
Thanks, Evan. Let's round off the show with a couple of holidays that occurred last week. First, Tuesday, October 10th was a day to celebrate an especially delicious art form. It was National Cake Decorating Day. A dessert dating back for centuries was celebrated with a modern twist. Decorated cakes carrying out the theme for many life's key celebrations from birthdays to weddings and beyond. Every year, October 10th is the day to thank your favorite cake decorators. Whether it's using icing, buttercream, meringue, or fondant, the cake decorators have many ways to express their edible art. Use the hashtag National Cake Decorating Day on social media to give a shout out to your favorite cake decorator or post favorite designs or memories of your past cakes. And for our final story, while Columbus Day is a federal holiday, many states and cities celebrate October 9th as Indigenous Peoples Day. It goes by National Native American Day in California and South Dakota, but it is otherwise known as Indigenous Peoples Day in many parts of the country. From helping the Pilgrims survive a harsh winter and speaking in a code that helped the Allies win World War II, October 9th is a day to honor the contributions of Native Americans. It falls on the same day as Columbus Day as a way to honor the people already living in the country when Christopher Columbus landed in 1492. And the influence of Native American culture can be seen everywhere. In many parts of the country, countless rivers, towns, and other landmarks still bear names originally given by Native tribes. Though Europeans and Native Americans would also embark on a relationship frequently mirrored in conflict, Indigenous people have left an indelible mark of culture and traditions on the United States. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and the staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/Chabot TV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.